Welcome to the Holiness Today Podcast. On this episode, I have a conversation with Janary Suyat, missionary for the Church of the Nazarene, who is currently serving in Japan. Janary shares her call to missions and how God is using her to connect with non-believers. I'm here with Janary, not to be confused with January, although she was born in January. But I am, to add extra confusion for me, this is my Tuesday evening and your Wednesday morning. I hope I got the days right. But tell us where you're coming in from, where we're Zooming from. Right now, we're doing this Zoom call without any video, so I can't see if she's making fun of me when I'm just not pronouncing her name correctly. So, no, I'm kidding. But welcome. That was a long introduction, but welcome to the Holiness Today podcast. And tell us where you are at right now, and then maybe just tell us a hobby of yours, something fun you like to do.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for having me here, Nate. I am in Fukuoka, Japan right now, and the future is bright on this Wednesday morning.
Oh, it's good. Tomorrow is good.
Yes. One of my hobbies is I like to play video games. I like to play I mean, I'm not a player like a gamer that's so good, but recently I just started this game of the Pokopia and Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, familiar with that, but it's like this combination of Animal Crossing, kind of like that, because I love that game.
Yeah, Animal Crossing is a lot of fun.
Like Minecraft, so it's like all in one. So
really, so is it for this? Is it for the Switch too? What platform is it for?
It's for the Switch too. I just got a gift when I got back from my deputation. So someone gave me this. So it was such a surprise. It's one of my hobbies. I love playing games. Sorry.
What's it called? Pokopia or what's the game? Is that what it's called?
Oh, so I guess it's Pokopia in Japanese. But it's like, I'm not sure what it's called in English.
It looks really cool. I'm looking at it now. I really enjoyed Animal Crossing, as did the world. I think, during COVID and all that. That was a great game. So we have just the Switch. We don't have the Switch too, but that looks like a pretty sweet game. Pretty cool game.
Yeah. That was my first time having that console too. It was during that pandemic time when everyone was just going crazy.
Yeah.
Played Animal Crossing for many hours as well, building stuff.
That was a good time to play Animal Crossing. That's kind of when I got involved in it as well. So I got married to my wife during COVID. In the middle of COVID, we were able to have our wedding because where we had it didn't close down, which was great. But we got the Switch as a wedding present. So we played Animal Crossing during that time as well. So it was a good time.
That's amazing. And then you can visit each other's island.
I know, yeah.
I remember that time. I had a lot of friends online because we would like do the exchange for the turnip.
Did you do the turnip? Okay, I was just gonna. I did the. So did you like go and sell it on the like you buy it cheap, sell it on? You had to buy it on Sundays, I think, if I remember correctly. So we didn't honor the Sabbath in buying it on Sundays, but. But
I would go to Discord and find anyone who was willing to sell for a high price or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. Yeah, I have not played in a while, but I turned it on the other day and I realized I had so much money from that darn turnip stuff. So I had made a lot of money on the turnip
I'm a
exchange.
Millionaire anywhere.
It's in your turnips.
That's
your
the
turnip
place
money.
where I'm a millionaire.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so funny. Right? Yeah. Well, that's good. So funny funny little story, and we're still kind of talking it through. But one of my good friends actually does a Bible study on Twitch streaming. So he's a Twitch streamer. Canadian Mountie is his Twitch handle. If anyone wants to try and find him, but he actually does a Bible study through his. Yeah, he's figured out a way to kind of use his video games as missional. It's kind of a first touch ministry. A lot of people that are just curious about the faith. But he's kind of used that as a way to connect with others. But follow-up question for you, do you connect with others? Do you find video games to be a good community developer, builder for you?
Yes. There are a few people that I would talk to talk with sometimes while I'm playing. I'm not as good as the others though that they can multitask. I find that like
Oh, I
that's
know.
really a gift to be able to
It
focus
is a
while you're
gift.
playing the game
Yeah.
and like to talk and to even host a Bible study. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes for me, like I would like talk with my friends and then ask them how they're doing or talk about different topics. And then I will
Mm-hmm.
just stop playing and just start rambling. And then I realize like,
Yep.
oh, I'm not moving at all. I'm not doing the stuff.
Yep. Yep. No, I'm amazed. He was hosting a game and talking to a Catholic friend about some aspect of theology while he was hosting and answering questions in the chat.
That's
All at the same time.
amazing.
He was talking, playing, and responding to people in the chat. I thought, I don't know how he was able to do that. So it is a
Yeah,
gift. It's definitely a
it is.
gift. But
During during the pandemic, I tried to record some of my games so I could put the voice
yeah,
over because I
yeah,
couldn't do it at the same time. I was
yeah,
experimenting a little bit on Twitch as well, but yes,
yeah.
that's a gift. I'm gonna check him
It-
out
yeah,
later.
I'll send you his information. So do you have a Twitch channel as well then?
Yes, but there's nothing there. But there, every once in a while, I will be live there
Yeah,
and see if I can try to talk and
yeah,
play at the same time. But I still haven't
yeah. It's hard to
practiced
do
that
that.
much on
Yeah,
that.
it's a skill. It's definitely a skill. So um, I could ask this a variety of different ways, but how did you wind up in Japan? I mean, how did that? What's your story? I was reading a little bit about that this evening, but how did you and your husband make it to Japan?
Yes, so it's an interesting story because first of all, I didn't imagine or never imagined that I would be living in another country. I was pastoring a church in the Philippines at that time, and all I had in mind was that I will be serving in my country. But in 2012, I had the opportunity to join a short-term mission trip called 12/7 Serve. It was a partnership between Global NYI and the newly formed Mesoamerica region at that time. And they wanted to gather 12 young people all over the world to represent their regions and then serve in the 7 different sites in the Mesoamerica region. And so I had the opportunity to join that. And that was really where my eyes were opened to the ways God invites people to join Him in what He's doing around the world, especially in unreached people groups. Because in one of the places where we were serving, we were doing the house to house evangelism, and I was talking with one of the people in one of the homes, and the conversation went to the story of Jesus and how he died for us and he died on the cross. And when I asked this person, so do you know what happened after he died? And the response was, what happened? And in my mind, I'm like, you don't know what happened?
Ah,
Like,
yeah,
who knows? Because like in my country, the Philippines, um, a lot of people consider themselves Christians, and there's this familiarity with the story, right? And I was expecting that from that place. So in my mind, if a place like that have still people that don't know about Jesus, how much more in areas where they really have, like for Japan, less than 1%. So that was the start of my desire to serve in unreached people groups, but it wasn't like a specific place. Like, okay, it would be Japan. But then my husband, back then, was actually the one that knew about um, Christianity in Japan being less than 1% when he was still in his country and he was still studying in one of our Bible schools, one of our seminaries. And he was told to study at Asia Pacific Nazarene Theological Seminary so that he could prepare to serve in a country like Japan. And then when he and I graduated from the seminary, we talked to the leadership and asked them if we could serve in the country. And at that moment, the conversation was that we don't have an opening but there's this other country where you could go. And we just followed that and prayed along with them how to enter that other country. And the doors were not open. But interestingly, another leader from Okinawa at that time was the superintendent of the Okinawa Christian School. They came with a team for the Yolanda typhoon relief or like help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They came to the Philippines and had a conversation with one of our M's living here. And yeah, they talked about him, my husband, before. And they had an interview because they were looking for chaplain. And it's not through our organization, but through that interview, we found out that the Lord was opening the door to this country and was leading us here, not to that other country where our leaders were telling us to go to. And so we were waiting for a response from that other country and the school where we were supposed to have our platform job, and there was no response. But then this superintendent of the school was like, okay, we'll hire you both as chaplains and Bible teachers. And so that's how we entered Okinawa, which is a small island in the south of Japan, in 2014. That's quite a long explanation, right? For this.
No, that's great.
Entry to Japan.
Yeah. So Okinawa, so you can correct me on this. Is that in southern Japan? Is that kind of like a island culture? Is that where that's at? Am I thinking of that correct? I guess I could pull up a map.
Yes. When you look at your map, it would be a small island, really, really down south, almost close to Taiwan.
So was that well, and then you grew up in Manila, so that's same time zone, it looks like. Am I saying that right? Maybe similar time zone?
No, because Japan is 1 hour ahead of the Philippines.
Oh, it's 1 hour. Okay. So what was it? So is Okinawa a similar, was it a similar culture? Was it culture shock to the Philippines? And then is mainland Japan different than Okinawa? What was, I always like to ask missionaries about the different culture. Like, what's the first thing that you noticed getting to the mission field where you thought, this is totally different? You know, was that a major culture shock for you, or not so much?
Well, I think I didn't have a big culture shock coming to Okinawa, except that I suddenly cannot read and speak.
Yes.
I guess that was the shock. So it's like everywhere you go, all of the signs are in Japanese. The kanji, which are the characters, or like the Chinese characters. And then I studied a little bit of the hiragana and katakana at that time, so I could read some of that. So I would be like, read, read. I would skip all of like the kanji, which I still do even up to this point because there's a lot of them. And then suddenly, I'm a talkative person, and then I couldn't talk, especially when I'm outside of the school, because where we were, we used English as the language of instruction, and everything was happening in English. But then when I would go to the stores or I would drive outside, I couldn't even like read some of the warning signs on the highways. You know how they would like put something, let's say it's raining or it's slippery or this road is closed, or their announcements. I would freak out during those times sometimes because I'm like, okay, what are they saying now? Am I missing something? And so that was really the main culture shock. But in terms of interacting with people, they were so lovely. We were at Keystone Church of the Nazarene our first year. So most of the members there are from the bases. I don't know if you're familiar with Okinawa having bases in there. And so many of the members that attended are from the military. So even that was, I guess, a culture shock for me because um, it's this new culture, a subculture, I would say, inside of Japan, right? But you asked what's the difference with Okinawa and mainland Japan. They all spoke the same language, but there is also um, the language of Okinawa that the elderly are still, I guess, familiar with, or they still use it. So they have that language too,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
have their own culture too, and the dances, and even in the art. It's it has its own different culture from the rest of Japan. And it was interesting because when we moved to Kyoto later, the people from Kyoto would interview me about this because they learned that I lived in Okinawa for 5 years. And they're like, so do they also drive on the other side of the road, like on the left side? And I'm like, it's still Japan. So everyone drives.
Still the same
Like,
one. Yeah.
do they also eat sukiyaki or do they also eat this? And I'm
Uh,
like, yes, they also eat the same food. They're also part of
yeah.
Japan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
reading that it had kind of a different island culture. You know, it wasn't like it was distinctly different. It wasn't that it was probably super different, but distinctly different from mainland Japan. So that's interesting in your experience. So another just follow up. So when you went to Mesoamerica, did you learn a language there? And then how many languages do you speak, or can you maybe order a cup of coffee or a cup of tea in? How many languages can you work, basically?
My my native language is Filipino because I'm from the Philippines, and I can actually speak a little bit of Spanish now thanks to that mission trip. We
Yep.
didn't have a language study during the 6 months, but we went to so many countries that only spoke in that language. And so you also don't have a way to communicate with the people if you don't at least try to copy or like try. So I asked a lot of my teammates to help me say this. How do I say this? So I said that a
Yeah.
lot. I am
Yep.
sure that they were tired of me because I want to talk so bad. I wanted to talk
Yeah.
so bad. So I would write my phrase and then I would say to my teammates, how do I say this? And then they'll teach me. And then I use that as a formula to replace all of the verbs. So I'm like, so what's the verb for this? What's the verb for this? And slowly I built my vocabulary at that time and then just tried to use it a lot. So now I'm still not perfect. I would say to the Spanish speakers that I always talk in the present because even though I'm talking about something in the past, all the conjugations are hard.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I would sometimes just use the present tense and then just say, but in the past. So I also speak a little bit of Spanish and then a little bit of Japanese.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
growing up, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, I was going to say, so growing up, you spoke, obviously your native language is Filipino, but did you grow up speaking English along with that as well?
Oh, I forgot to say I also speak English, right?
Well,
That's
we're
what we're
speaking it
using right
now, so
now.
it's just assumed. Yeah. No, you're good.
Uh,
You're good.
uh, yes, because in the schools in the Philippines, English is also used as our language of instruction, both English and Filipino. Um, Back in my day, I think even starting from nursery, we would actually just use English. But I heard that recently a lot of the children are forgetting the language or their dialect. And so I think they start with that and study English from fourth grade. I'm not so sure about this information, but I heard it from some of my friends. But for me, yeah, from the beginning, we also used English in school.
And then did you grow up Nazarene in the Philippines, or how did you get involved with the Church of the Nazarene?
Yeah, I'm actually a third generation Nazarene.
Oh, wow.
So my grandparents from my dad's side, they were to teenagers when the first missionaries came to the Philippines, and that's how they came to know the Lord. And then they met each other at our Bible school in the north, in the north of the Philippines, at the north of the Philippines. And then my dad was also a Nazarene. Then when I was born, we also attended a Church of the Nazarene. But it's interesting because what I remember is I was about 6 or 7 that we also helped another group. So from my 6 to around 10 years old, we were helping another group plant their church. And then when that was set up, I believe we went back to the Church of the Nazarene. And then I was about 10 when we came back. So yeah, it's been fun to be part of the Church of the Nazarene.
And we'll be right back.
I believe that God is still calling people, and people are still saying yes. He's calling young people, women and men. He's calling people who are a little bit older. He's calling families. He's calling his whole church, and he's calling us to missions. If you're a young person and you sense that God is calling you, maybe tugging your heart with a sense of calling your life, don't ignore it. Pray about it, talk to your pastor about it, and then come and speak to us in Global Missions. Go to the website, nazarene.org/the cause. And there you will see some things that will give you excitement and opportunity to be part of the cause of the King and the cause of the kingdom. I hope you do.
Now, back to the rest of the episode. And you said that when you were young, you felt the call to missions, and that's when. So how did that process work for you to be selected for the? Did you say 12-7? Is that the program? Yeah. So what was that process like?
Well, I believe the regional youth coordinators for all the 6 regions talked to the different leaders and asked them for their suggestions, like who would you suggest to participate in this? So we had actually another person selected for my region. And then the regional youth coordinator at that time, Brian Woolery, also wrote to me and asked me if I could participate. At that time, I didn't really think it was possible because I was told that in order to participate in it, we needed to raise $2,000. And that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was already in the seminary at that time. I mentioned that I was pastoring a church, but I had to resign after 4 years of pastoring so that I could focus on my MDiv because I couldn't really balance both. I was having a hard time studying and then at the same time pastoring. And then that's when this invitation came. So I was like, oh man, I just finished my time as a pastor so I could focus on this. And then now I'm going to leave again and skip 2 semesters so that I could participate in this. So some people were like, you should not go. Or some people even said, oh, you just wanted to travel the world. And I was like, I didn't seek this, they offered it to me. And so I was really praying hard, like, Lord, please help me hear your voice. I'm hearing a lot of voices. And so I was praying and fasting at that time, and the Lord led me to this passage from Luke 1 when the angel of the Lord appeared to Mary. And she was like, how can this be possible, with the announcement of her carrying the Savior in her womb. And then the angel said that the Holy Spirit would be upon her because nothing is impossible with God. And then she said, may it be unto me according to your word. And that really gripped my heart. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, Lord, if this is the step of faith you want me to take, I don't know where the money will come from or if I will be granted all the visas because I needed all the visas for the different countries. And I only had about 6 months left before we needed to leave. It was so impossible at that time. And so I responded to the email and said that, okay, if you want me to participate in this, I'll take the step of faith. Tell me what's next. And then Brian said, well, you have to raise another $3,000 for your airfare. And I
Oh
was like,
man.
oh man, I probably heard the Lord wrong.
Yeah.
But the good news is that the Lord really provided all of the resources I needed in order to go, and even the
Amen.
visas. I could write a whole book about all of that story and how so many people helped me in that process. And even with the language, we were talking about that earlier because I think like when the Lord calls us to go, He prepares the way and provides for us what we need for the journey. And that's how I received my call to cross-cultural ministry and to unreached people groups. I was already 27 at that time, actually. So, yeah.
So you said you could write a book about a story. Can you share maybe one or two of those stories? What are some things that during that time where you just said, God, that was you, not me? Maybe you could share a story with us.
Yeah. So there were so many stories about the visa, right? And even like the language. So for the visa, we had to apply in so many places for my visa because, the Philippine passport is not as strong as other passports. Some people are not realizing this because I guess for some, they just think, oh, you just hop on a plane and then you can enter different countries. But for me, it's always like showing up at embassies and I'm at the mercy of the people all the time.
Yeah.
And so the starting point of that trip was in Costa Rica for our I'm sorry, was in Panama for the training for the selected participants. And then the ending point would also be Panama. And they would have the NYC there, the Nazarene Youth Congress there, and we would also help out in that when we finish our 6 months. But then I couldn't join the team because the embassy had certain rules for certain countries, and that included my country, that they had to even post something on the publication. I guess like checking my background, having to get a lawyer and all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
joined them through we still use Skype at that time.
Yeah.
Zoom was not yet a
Yeah.
big thing. And I would join in the middle of the night because the time zone it would be their morning. They would do the training. I would have to join them from evening until morning. And then the process already started for my visa application, right? When we were in Haiti was another side because the first was Panama, and then we went to St. Kitts and Nevis. Um, Sorry, I said one story, but I'm kind of sharing a
No,
couple of things
you are
along the
fine.
way.
Don't interrupt yourself. You're doing great. So you're doing
Okay,
good.
so Saint Kitts and Nevis would be the first, I guess, destination after the training part,
Uh-huh.
and I would be joining the team there. And when I was at the airport already, the leadership told me that the visa would be ready when I arrive. Okay. So that's all I had. I had a letter
Oh
with
man.
me trusting that, okay, when I arrive there, it will be ready. Guess what? When I was about to go through the check-in process in my country at the airport, they told me, "Where's your return ticket?" We did not actually buy a return ticket for me because we were thinking, oh, when I have my Panama visa, which was the end site or the last place,
Yeah.
then we could be sure to buy the ticket, right? Like from Panama back to the Philippines.
Right.
And I guess this is one of the things that you start to learn when you're traveling. You have to have a return ticket because they won't just let you leave the country without that return ticket, at
Oh
least for my
wow. Yeah.
country, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so they did not allow me to board the plane. And it was
Oh.
in the middle of the night for the other side of the world. I remember David Gonzalez was with the Global NY office at that time. And I was like, looking for someone awake. I was trying to talk to people like, anyone help me, please. They're not
Oh
letting me
man.
board. And
Oh
then
no.
David responded and said, okay, just go back home now and then we'll figure this out and buy another ticket for you. And I was like,
Oh.
I was so discouraged already. And
Yeah.
it was just the
Yeah.
starting part, right? And so I went home. I even had that weekend to preach at my holy church. I had the chance to preach because I was not leaving yet. It was May 5th, I think, was a new ticket. And then when I flew, and so now I had a return ticket, they allowed me to go all the way to St. Kitts and Nevis. At the immigration, I was lining up there, and I was told, "Where's your visa?" And I said, "Well, they said the visa will be here when I arrive." Isn't that crazy? Just to show up and just say that. And then they put me in this room, like a holding place, a holding room. And I had to wait for a few minutes. And then the person was like, "I don't see anything with your name here. Like, there's nothing here for you." And then I heard the sound, when there's an email that just came in, like, ding, like that, or like the beep.
Yeah.
And it was my visa.
Wow.
And so I'm thinking, if I was able to go the first attempt, the first flight, then the visa won't be there. And then they'd probably send me back home. Then I'd have to have that travel. But I guess that's the positive thing that I could see in that situation. That the second time when I arrived, then the visa arrived in their emails. And then I was able to enter, and one of my teammates picked me up at the airport. And that was like in St. Kitts. The next site was Haiti, right? So after 3 weeks there, we went to Haiti, and another team member who was also from Haiti and I went to the embassy of Panama, right? Remember that story at the beginning where I had to follow up on the visa application because we were on that stage already. And they helped us with the process. So we lodged in our needed papers, all the stuff. And then we went to the other site. I'm going to skip some of the sites, right? So after Haiti, we went to the Dominican Republic. There's a whole story again about the visa application for Mexico, which was the next site. And then we ended up having to go to Guatemala and then El Salvador. So when we were in El Salvador, my Haitian, the other team member from Haiti, and I went to the Panama embassy, right? And he was able to get his visa. And then they were like, "Janary, we don't see your name here." And I was like,
Oh, no.
man, I guess I'm not going to finish this whole trip. The 6 months would be shorter for me. This would be my last flight now, El Salvador, because the next one would be Panama. And I was like, okay, this was a great opportunity to serve and experience different cultures. It's time for me to leave. But then they contacted our site leader at that time in El Salvador and said, so after we were in the embassy, right, that evening, we received a message and said like, "Oh, you come back to the embassy because the rules for the country of the Philippines changed. It will now just be a visa application that will only take 3 days."
Wow.
Don't you think that's God?
Yes. Yes.
It's like so I remember writing in my journal at that time that, oh wow, the Lord even changes the rules for the countries in order for me to enter.
Man.
Panama. And
He's powerful.
so we went, amen. We went back and we applied, and then I got my visa and I was able to join the team until the end.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yes,
So-
that's what
so-
happened there.
In all of that, I think you'd met. I was reading some. I believe it was for the Asia Pacific region, something you wrote up, but that in your travels, you've really kind of devotionally thought about process through God and timing. I think was a theme that I read. So I could see how that timing, God's timing in your life, really is over all of that. But from that, you said that you felt like a call to ministry. Was there a specific moment where it was very clear? I mean, you were already in ministry, but a call to missions, to cross-cultural missions while you were in Mesoamerica. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes. So in Panama, when we were at the Nazarene Youth Congress or conference, they were launching at that time Genesis, which is in the Mesoamerica region, one of the projects for inviting young people to start planting churches in urban areas. And they were the pastor that was talking at that time were the Armstrongs, Scott Armstrong. And
Yeah.
I remember vividly when he was talking about the verse, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And
Mm-hmm.
so in my heart, I know I was already serving in my country as a pastor, but it became a big question mark. In my country, there are a lot of believers and a lot of workers. I feel like that you don't have a shortage of workers. So many churches, so many people who are passionate about God. But then I start to think about the different countries in the world. And I didn't know at that time yet if the Lord was gonna send us to Japan or a specific place. But vividly, I remember raising my hands during the altar call and saying, like, here am I, send me. I want to be part of the workers in the harvest field where there are no workers. And so where I'm at now, where there's less than 1%, I really think that the Lord has prepared me and called me for that moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I've not studied Japanese history heavily, but I've always found it fascinating. Basically, through all of its history, the Christian church has been a really, really low percentage. You said 1.2%, I believe, and you come from the Philippines, which is, I don't know. I mean, they rank as one of the highest percentage nations of Christianity, very heavily Roman Catholic, but also Protestant. But what is that like going from a very Christian nation to a nation that is less than 2%? I mean, that's got to be a little crazy. What's that feel like?
Yeah. Well, according to the Joshua Project, there's about 0.4% evangelical Christians.
Wow.
Out of 123 million. So that's really a small number. And when we say that, my experience on my first year in Japan, talking with another friend of a friend, like a Japanese friend, and sharing about Jesus, there was this big question mark on her face because she was just so, I guess, baffled that I put a lot of importance in this person and talked about Jesus. I was just excited to share about my faith like I would do back home, which was a normal thing, right? Like you share about your day to day and how the Lord has been working in your life. And while we were at a cafe, I would just like talk like how I would back home. But the whole time I noticed that she had this question mark on her face, like when the eyebrows are like, you're not making sense right now. And when she finally opened her mouth, she was like, why are you so happy that someone died? I'm laughing at it. It's not a funny thing, right?
No,
It's not a funny response, but I'm laughing because I never heard that response before.
Yeah.
Not in my country. Why would say something like that? And I was like, that's the good news because he did not remain dead. He is alive and he's still transforming lives today. Would you like to know more about him? But then there's this big question mark about what are you talking about that someone died and is now alive? So yeah, in my country, if you talk about how Jesus died for us, they would start, being emotional, and then they want to ask for forgiveness. They realize how much they are loved and accepted no matter what they've done. And there's that kind of response, which I guess what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Having been in a country where 80%, even though it includes all the nominal, believers, the majority of the population that has heard and is aware
and is aware of Christianity. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
So more and more, I just want to walk alongside my friends and people and not just talk about the story, but really in all of my conversations have an opportunity to explain a little bit more. a discussion on how they understand their lives and their faith and how Jesus enters the scene, or how God has been at work in all of our lives, in all of humanity, all over the world, because it's such a foreign concept. I don't think also that what I have heard so far from some of my friends that do not belong to our belief, our worldview, that um people, I guess, are afraid to share that they're Christians here in the country. There's no persecution, but with the culture that hopes to be the same, um, being a believer of Christ really makes you stand out. And so I guess that's also the prayer, that more and more the believers would be bold and courageous to share about how Jesus has been working in their lives.
So yeah, that's a leads me to a good follow-up question. But what does your day look like doing missions in Japan? What is a kind of a what does that look like in a country of over 98% non-Christian? What does your mission work look like?
So living here in Japan, the main thing I do is to make friends. I know that it sounds super easy, maybe to some who this is the thing that they're good at, but I thought that it would be easy for me because I love making friends and talking, and I love hanging out. But it I guess the hard part is the intentionality and the the time. Because in my country, in 5 minutes, you can share your whole life. Some people would meet each other in the grocery store, in the jeepneys, and then they can start talking and then start sharing about their families, and just have that sense of ease in sharing. But here, people are quite reserved. And so, what I do is to really find opportunities to meet people. That's one, through meetup groups or using my interest as a way to find the people. So, I use different apps in order to find groups where I could meet people, and just pray that every encounter would be, the way the Lord has arranged it for the day. And sometimes there's a dating app where there's a BFF section. You might be familiar. Some people listening might be familiar with that. And there are people there that are just looking for friends to hang out with.
Yeah.
I would go to some language exchange apps as well to do English language practice for them and Japanese language practice for me. And we would meet up in cafes. And once I'm able to meet people that way, I just follow up and invite them to my home. Maybe once we've learned that we both play Animal Crossing or some other would play, I'd invite them. I'd say, would you like to try some Filipino food? And then invite them to my home so they could try a bit of my culture. And also just go try different things, activities, because they want to do that and they want to do that with someone. So if you have seen my social media, sometimes I post my times with some of my friends. So a lot. And I have a lot of travels connected to my global NYI assignment that it really has helped me too, because here people are so busy that if I have to do that all the time with them, it might be very hard. But because I go out of the country and I just keep in touch with them, then they are excited to meet again when I'm back. And yeah, that has been something I always look forward to when I'm coming back from my work trips or outside of the country. I do that through our activities and conversations. The questions come up. Simple conversations turn into a bigger conversation. Different questions like, you're a missionary, what does that mean? Or you're a Christian, what does that mean? You go to the church every Sunday? Why? Or if I would invite them to go with me to the grocery store, they would ask me, "Where do you usually shop?" "Oh, I shop here and there, but I also go to Costco. I have a membership there. Do you have a membership there? Do you want to go with me?" And so they're like, "I don't have a membership. Can I go with you?" And then they would see things like, "Why is there a lot of chocolates here? Oh, maybe it's for Easter." So I just like say that without
Yeah.
thinking anything, right? But then Easter, what is that? Is that a scary story? Then the conversations just flow. I
Yeah.
would attend like some classes, like maybe dance classes, and then hopefully like the people that I meet there, we would be able to have a meal outside, and then conversation come up from that, and just the curiosity about my culture and my life and my faith. So yeah, I learn a lot from them in the way they see the world, and then as I ask questions about how they see the world and how they experience different things, they ask me back as well. But I would say that that doesn't usually happen. The deeper conversations don't usually happen on the first meeting. It's like after 2 years, maybe, of consistently meeting with them. I've been living here now for 12 years, so I've learned that it takes about 2 years
Takes
before we could
time.
really go
Yeah.
to the deeper conversations about even about their own families still.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. How long does it take for them to maybe invite you to meet their family and extended family? Is that pretty closed off? Does that take time to kind of get to that point as well?
Yeah, like for my friends that have invited me to their home, it took about 2 years before that
Wow.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so grateful for my friends that have really opened their home to me, because that's not a usual thing here. But if I would talk to my younger self at the beginning, who was always frustrated and who always impatient that nothing was happening, I would tell myself, wait, just wait, because on the second year of your relationship with that person, this is what's gonna happen. So
Oh,
now
man.
in a way, I just like look at my day-to-day life as like I will just live and be me and enjoy all my interests, because the way I meet people, it's not just me trying to do that because it's my assignment, but the Lord has already arranged that encounter for me, because He's at work in their lives even before I show up, and I'm just partnering with what He's doing already as I live my life as I'm going.
Do you find that Japanese culture, in contrast to your background in Manila, I imagine Manila, never been to either country, but Manila kind of being more expressive, more extroverted, busy, hustle and bustle, whereas Japan is probably more, I'm trying to think of the right word, but kind of quiet and maybe isolated, maybe is the feeling I get. Is there a contrast there between your two countries that you've been in?
A big contrast. And I guess I see that whenever I'm frustrated, because, for example, I am a very opinionated,
Yeah.
talkative person.
Yeah.
And when I'm in a room, let's say we're in a meeting, if I have an idea, in my country, I just feel free to raise my hand or just feel free to speak up.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
even for my country, people would start first like try to see if it's okay to share, if they feel comfortable to share. So there's some sense of like you read the air first. But here it's even on an extra level because I at the beginning would just like speak and share, but the people are quiet, and in my mind I'm like, oh, they're quiet, so I guess I would just like speak. But usually it's not that they don't have anything to say, but they're waiting for the opportunity to be asked. And when I learned that, like, don't just like go ahead and talk, you wait to be asked, then I'm like, oh. And I try to like not say anything until they said, how about you? What do you think? So that was a big difference for
Yeah.
me, that I had to train myself to
I bet.
refrain myself from just sharing what I think or thinking that I have all the answers or like that I'm the only one that had an answer, because everyone also has something to say, but I have to be patient. So that's one. Another is the tendency to be more, like you said, isolated. I guess like it's being part of the Asian culture where we're communal. What I mean by that is like we always want to be with other people and do things together. I know, and I know that I know and see that here, but I also see the part of like the sense of having their own space and wanting to make sure that they have their own
Right.
yeah, I guess like their own thing. I see that a little bit more. There's like in the hot and cold climate cultures where there's a value for your own space. I see that a little bit more here. Like don't bother others and don't be a burden. So that there would be harmony. That's a very big thing here. Whereas in my country, we share things, like even with the space. If you've seen the jeepney, there's always space for one more. You can fit everyone.
Right.
Well, here, don't be so close to them, I guess, would be there's a value for your own space.
So would a jeepney be that's a bus, is that right? Am I understanding that correctly? Is that sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I cut you, but it's not a bus. It's like you've seen the Jeeps, right?
Yeah.
Like the shorter version of that. So extend the Jeep to the back, like extend it, make a space for the passengers, and that's our public transportation.
Yeah. So that would like, probably be the polar opposite of a Japanese subway, I would guess, right? Would be just a completely different thing altogether for public transit.
It's very different because, well, it's a vehicle, and then the other one is like really, really fast and on time
and quiet, and all that.
The population in the cities are really, we have a lot of people in the cities. So then the subways plus the foreigners, the tourists, can make the subway or like the trains really crowded too, especially during rush hour. So even though they also value their own space, it can get really, 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 really close as well. Especially in some of the dense areas like Tokyo during rush hour. So it's like there's the rush of human beings entering the trains.
Yeah. So have you taken some of the bullet trains in Japan? Have you done that at all?
Yes. When I go to Osaka or to Kyoto, it's 2 hours from the station here in Fukuoka, which is called Hakata. And it's really fast. It's also 2 hours from Kyoto to Tokyo. So yeah, if you want to go somewhere very quickly, the Shinkansen or the bullet train is really reliable.
Yeah, that's really cool. Because you are kind of down towards the south, right? You're on the ocean, and then across from you is South Korea. Am I looking at that right on the map? Is that where you're at in Japan?
Yes, we are closer to South Africa, which is like the Busan area. You can take a ferry from Fukuoka, where I live, to that area. It's like closer than the other parts. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could get to Tokyo in 4 hours on the bullet train from where you're at. Is that right?
Yeah, around 4 to 5. Yes.
That's really cool. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. You should visit Japan when you have a chance with your wife.
Yeah, I need to do that. So do you mind if I just ask some kind of fun popcorn get to know you questions for our audience?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's see if I can pull up some fun ones here. So I always have to ask this: are you a coffee or tea drinker?
I'm a mood drinker. So sometimes I'm in the mood for coffee, sometimes for tea.
So what do you have a specific tea or coffee way to prepare your coffee at all? Is there mood? So anyway, but what do you prepare it yourself? Do you go out and do it? What's the culture like that? Is there a coffee culture in Japan?
not a big coffee culture like in some places where they have this whole experience to the way you prepare the coffee. But there is a tea culture if it's like the whole ceremonial matcha tea, right? But
Yeah.
for me, my favorite tea would be the hojicha tea, which is the roasted green tea. And you just have the leaves and then you have the hot water. It's not super hot.
Yeah.
But recently for coffee, I really enjoy mixing coffee with something citrusy, like a drink that is, let's say, an orange drink or like a
Yeah.
lemon drink. Have you tried those? Like a
No.
grapefruit and then coffee.
I'll drink it with
Isn't
soda
that like a
water
weird?
sometimes. Like, do you drink flavored soda water at all? I drink my coffee with
Yes.
that sometimes alongside of that. I don't know if
But
that's.
you were like alongside with that. But I'm talking about layering it
Oh,
like at the
Oh
bottom.
no, I have not done
You
that. No, is it pretty good?
It is very good. I don't think I'm going back because after I tried that last year, there was this
Yeah.
cafe here that had like their coffee and then blood orange. I was like, wow, this is a crazy combination. And so I went to another place and tried one with like lemon. Oh, that is so delicious. And then when I tried it with other things like grapefruit, it's amazing. You should try one time. I can recommend some places
Yeah,
if you're in
you'll have to
Tampa.
send. Yeah, you'll have to send me some stuff. I had. I'm trying to remember what they called it. They called it Americola. So it was an Americano, but they used Coca-Cola. Now I don't know if they got into like a copyright issue. It was a coffee shop in Madison, Wisconsin that were selling them, and then they just kind of stopped all of a sudden. But basically, what it was a cold Coca-Cola and coffee mixture. It sounds crazy, but it was pretty darn good. And you'd get the caffeine from both, obviously. So that's probably the craziest coffee mixture I've ever drank. But yeah, Americola.
I've never tried cola yet.
The HD podcast might get sued now for saying that. Maybe there was a copyright issue on that. So just kidding.
You need to cut it out.
Yeah, we'll have to delete that one.
But that's like caffeine on caffeine. Wow.
I know.
That's like an extra shot right there.
I like a lot of caffeine, so that's good. So on that note, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I don't think I have a preference at this point.
Yeah.
With my job, that I have meetings in different time zones.
Yeah.
I guess I can be evening or morning. But what I love about the mornings, though, if it's like early, I wake up early morning, that I could go for, I guess, like a walk or a run and then the sunrise. That's really so pretty. So I like that too.
Yeah. Because you see the sunrise across the ocean, right? The sunrise is on the ocean where you're facing. Is that right?
Oh, actually, no. It's the sunset on this side, but I'm not really near the ocean. But if I go to the ocean like 30 minutes away, that will be
the sun. Okay,
the sunset.
Got it.
I love sunsets still.
Yeah. I prefer. I don't know if I'm a night person. I think I've become more of a night owl because my wife is more of a night owl. But I think I prefer. I've lived on different areas, but I think I prefer sunsets to sunrises over the water. So yeah, I don't get up early enough for the sunrise. But so are you a book reader, movie watcher, podcast listener, all of the above? Do you have a favorite way to consume content?
Wow. Well, I do all of it, but I guess I watch TV series more than movies or read books or listen to podcasts. But I would have my moments when I would read books, moments when I would listen to podcasts and watch movies. But I guess the frequency would be watching Korean dramas or like other things would be a bit more than the ones you've mentioned.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite movie or like a comfort movie you like watching that is just kind of your favorite? You put it in?
Wow, that is hard. That's a hard question. Do I have a comfort movie? I don't think I have a movie that I would just. I guess like an interesting fact about me, I don't like to rewatch movies.
Yeah.
What I love about watching movies is the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Like I want to keep guessing. But I just learned recently that people love to rewatch movies. They have their favorite movies and they watch it over and over again.
My dad is a big movie rewatcher. I mean, I can, But I kind of am more on that side of like you like to discover new movies. But my dad will rewatch a movie multiple times, so he loves doing that. But yeah, that's a thing.
But I guess I can point to one movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid, simply because my siblings really loved it. Have you heard of The Little Rascals?
Oh yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So recently, I tried to look it up and watched it again. So I guess like that was a fun movie
So
for
The
my
Little
childhood.
Rascals.
Yep.
That's your comfort movie. That's good. So what here's a funny question, see if we can assemble this correctly. In all of your travels, if you were going to build a meal and you had to select a dish from, I'll make it a little easy. I'll say 4 different countries, and it just could be a hodgepodge. It doesn't have to make sense. What 4 items would you select to make your dream dinner meal?
Oh man. Okay. 4, right? 4 countries.
Yeah, you can add 5. I just didn't want to make it too difficult. You can do 3 too. So whatever you want to do, you got to throw it together.
Okay. Let's start with the tacos from Mexico. And
okay. Yeah, that would be on mine too.
Yeah,
I'll put that up there.
That will be there with some queso frito on the side from the Dominican Republic and their mango. That's so delicious, by the way. Now I'm craving for that. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I don't think I have.
It's like,
so what is it?
like
Explain it.
The plantain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Plantain, and then like the fried cheese on the side.
Yeah.
And then have some of the Japanese sushi.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Does it count like where I live? Yeah, because that and maybe Caesar salad. From where is that from? From the States?
Oh yeah, probably. It probably an Italian American thing. It's probably United States. I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't know. It might be originally from Italy.
I love food. That was a hard question, by the way.
Yeah,
it was hard to just pick, but I guess I'm craving for those things right now.
There you go. You're gonna have to have a funny lunch later with all of those dishes. So
yes.
Well, I'm stealing this question from one of my co-hosts, Stan Reeder, but is there a question that you thought I would ask you, but I haven't asked you yet?
Well, I guess because we mentioned a little bit about my husband, I think it would be important to kind of like talk a little bit about that we're not together anymore and how that has been a part of my story, being here in Japan as well, and how that has become a big part of my ministry and what I do in my story whenever I talk to some of my contacts nowadays. Because I think not a lot of people know about that, but because we've mentioned over and over again how I first came to the country was that we were together, that during the pandemic, because the whole world was going through a lot at that time, that it didn't exempt us as well from the situation. And so sadly from that time, he walked away from the faith, and in consequence walked away from our relationship. And that has been the darkest time for me, that I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna be able to minister in my brokenness and in my situation. How do I explain to the people that haven't started their walk yet with the Lord the concept that someone was walking away from his walk? And I think the Lord has really been so gracious to me and the church in helping me feel supported during that time. Because when I thought that it was kind of like the end for me, and that no one would even allow me to serve with the brokenness that I have experienced, that actually the Lord has opened up so many doors for me in my conversations with my contacts about who is the one that has helped me during this journey, that who was the one walking with me and giving me strength even in my darkest moment, and that was the Lord. And it became kind of like an opening to a conversation about who Jesus is in our lives. And so I just wanted to, I guess, mention that.
Yeah. So, in that, was it something that was, so you said during the pandemic, disruptive in the sense that you returned back to the Philippines at all, or did you stay in Japan? What did that look like for you during that time?
Well, in 2021 of April, I had an opportunity for an administrative leave of absence. I didn't go back to the Philippines, but I was in the States because my parents are serving as pastors in the States, in Washington State, in Bremerton. So I was with them during that time. And then after my 3 months, I came back to Japan. I was in Okinawa for a little bit with the other missionaries here, other family that was here. And I was there for about maybe 5 months. And then I moved to Fukuoka, where I live now, where I've been living for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so you mentioned that, in that time that you relied on the Lord, leaning on the Lord, but you also kind of just referenced that, that has opened up ministries. Has that been an opportunity to find good friends during that time as well, kind of opening up that way?
Yes. So, interestingly, like the Japanese friends and even the Japanese churches have been a big support for me, community for me during that time. And I think that a lot of what I went through at that time became an opening for a conversation about who Jesus is in our lives, and an opening for them too when I was vulnerable enough to share about what I was going through. Like I told you, it takes them a long time before they could share about themselves. But it has allowed them to share their brokenness too, like with their marriages or their broken families, or growing up with parents going through divorce. I never thought that I would have those kinds of conversations with the people that I meet frequently. And it felt like during that season, many of my friends that were going through problems with their marriages too started, opening up to me about what they were going through. And in a way, it became kind of like a way we could walk together. And I had an opportunity to share about who has helped me, who has been the anchor for me and the source of my strength and comfort in the difficult moments of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it became an opening for me with my deeper relationship with my contacts here.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. How God can use, those dark times and turn it for good. But thank you for sharing that. That's powerful.
Yeah, I hope it could encourage you today and our listeners too.
Yes. Well, the second to last question that I like to ask before I say how can we pray for you, but the second to last question is, how do you rest? So what do you do to relax, to unwind, to de-stress?
Well, sleep is on the top of that list. I really love sleep. So whenever I'm stressed or I am so tired from the trips, I could actually sleep for 2 days, but I don't do that anymore. But that's one. Another thing that I do, aside from, like I mentioned earlier, like play some games, I also enjoy watching Korean dramas, like I told you already as well.
Well, I've been hearing, I've never watched Korean dramas, but it seems like the Korean film industry is getting a lot of attention at the Oscars. So I bet you the Korean dramas are pretty good as well. So so do you watch them in Korean?
Well, with English subtitles.
English subtitles. Okay. I was gonna say, so you didn't mention you would, Korean as well, if that was the case. So that's good.
I hope I will speak Korean as well someday. I try different
Yeah.
languages on Duolingo, but it's still,
Good for you.
all the beginning.
Yeah. Well, they have these. They apparently my headphones that I have had an update on them where you could start hearing in other languages on them, but like the Google headphones, supposedly like dynamically translate different languages. I haven't ever tried that out, but have you heard about that at all?
Yes, I've heard about these things, and even like some of the eyeglasses that could even translate things and also have like
road
a
signs and stuff.
Thingy, like
yeah,
those are fascinating.
Crazy.
Right? I need to try them too.
Yeah. You have to see if it works. You might not want to hear what they've been saying about you though. That might be the problem, So
yeah, that was like the ad that you can now start listening to.
Yeah, what they've been saying.
Stuff that people are saying.
Oh man, that's good. Well, Janary, what can we be praying about for you? What can our listeners, how can they be praying for you?
Well, please pray for all the conversations that I have with the people that I have come in contact with and will meet in the future. Please pray that all of these friendships would grow deeper and that I would be able to really reflect Jesus' love and character, and that they would get to know him more through my life, and that the young generation of believers in this country would be able to see that example as well, that they would be able to learn that being a believer does not only mean going to church on Sundays or that's it, but that it really happens on the day-to-day in their friendships. I pray that my relationships as well with our young leaders here in the country would go deeper as well, that we could do discipleship together and just be able to do the work in fresh and exciting ways, and that they would not be afraid to start something new, especially in this world that is changing so fast.
Yeah. We'll be praying for that. And interested to hear more about, share with me, if you can, different ways people can connect with you. I'll share your missionary profile in the link, but if you have other ways that listeners could maybe reach out to you in any way, if you'd like to share it, but send that my way. I'd love to put that in there. So, and then if you want to, your Twitch account. No, I don't know. I was just, as you were saying that, I was just thinking like new ways to connect with people. So I thought, my friend, Canadian Mountie, I think is his name. But anyways, he's been doing different things like that. But we got to think of creative ways to connect with people. So that's good stuff.
Right. I will send it to you later. Or do you want me to share on this?
Only if you want to. Yeah, only if you want to. Don't feel any pressure, but happy to put anything in the show description for people to connect with you in any way. So, yeah. Yeah,
I'm on Instagram. If people are there, I think many of the people are on Instagram. I share stories. I share, different things there. I also just started a prayer channel too. I don't know if you're all interested in that, but it's Janary.Suyat. So it's like my name with a dot in the middle. So they can kind of follow me there or just send a message if they have questions about Japan or my ministry or anything. I'd love to connect with you all.
Awesome. Well, Janary, thank you so much. Janary, born in January. So that's
You did great pronouncing my name, by the way. Thank you. I hope
I was glitching out on it. Yeah, I don't want to say that the person may have said it that way, but that's how I heard it. And then in the beginning of the interview, when we were doing it, we turned off our video, but I was getting delayed reactions. So that's why. But Janary, how I thought of it. So it's Janary. Am I saying it right? You could be like, Nate, you're not saying it right.
Yes, you're doing an excellent job saying my name.
I thought of cannery. I thought of like a cannery. So I was like, Janary, cannery. So but, I'm going to get it. I've got it down. So now it's good. Well, thank you for spending your morning and my evening. So I'm glad the future
Thank you
looks
for being
bright in
flexible.
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So nice
All
to
right.
be here.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Thank you for listening to the Holiness Today podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to us and follow us on social media. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon, Audible, and wherever else you may find your podcasts.